Right now, suspended Western Cape Community Safety MEC Albert Fritz has been fired by Premier Winde. This follows the conclusion of an independent report into allegations of sexual misconduct. The former MEC was suspended last month due to several allegations levelled against him. eNCA reporter Ayesha Ismail is following these developments for us, and let's cross to her for the latest. Ayesha, a lot of people, of course, would be reacting to the news, and the Western Cape Premier has expressed his disappointment in this particular matter.
Well, Masejo, we heard from Premier Winde this morning, and rather harsh words from the Premier with regards to his minister, he's now ex-minister of Community Safety, Albert Fritz. Winde released a damning press release earlier this morning saying that Albert Fritz was not a fit and proper person to be serving in his executive council, and he has made a decision based on an investigation, an independent investigation. He's made a decision to fire Albert Fritz with immediate effect. But let's take a listen to what Premier Winde had to say earlier today.
I'm angry, I'm disappointed. It really is. Reading that report, I received it on Sunday evening. I met with the advocate on Monday, yesterday afternoon. And so this morning followed through and fired the MEC from my cabinet. Obviously the independent investigator is not a court of law, but she ran a full investigation, audi ultram partem, both sides. As you said, sufficient credibility of the allegations of sexual misconduct, also of the allegations of alcohol abuse, and then creating this environment in which these abuses could happen. And so, quite frankly, with the position, there's just no doubt I have to remove him from the cabinet. Of course, the party would now have to do another process, but he is now fired from my cabinet.
So what about the criminal charges, Ayesha? Will any be laid against Albert Fritz?
Well, Masejo, what's interesting is that the complainants that, as Winde says, confided in him, have not gone to the police to lay any criminal charges yet. And also Winde says that this investigation that took place was not a criminal investigation, but he does say that there is sufficient evidence for a criminal investigation to now take place. Let's listen to what the Premier had to say about this.
Okay, so the criminal case has to be opened by the complainant. The advocate and our team have said that we'll give the complainants the support. We've also advised them which NGOs are the best to give them that support in going forward, but it is their case to lay. And, of course, we will see what happens now in the next day or so. The advocate is of the opinion that there is definitely enough evidence here for them to go ahead and lay criminal charges. Obviously, that's what they must do, so that will be their next step.
Well, Ayesha, I know he's never spoken to us before, and he said that he wants to wait for this to die down first. But have we heard anything at all from the now fired MEC?
We've not heard from the fired MEC yet, but Masejo, opposition parties have always said that they believe that there was sufficient evidence for Albert Fritz to be fired by Winde. The African National Congress also came out earlier this year saying that Albert Fritz should have been fired. They maintained that Winde had enough evidence to fire him a long time ago. They say that Winde has been covering up for Albert Fritz. But I'm now joined by the ANC's Lerumo Kalako. Lerumo, the Premier has now released the findings of the independent investigation. He's now fired Albert Fritz. Are you happy about this?
No, look, we are happy about that because we have already, long time ago, when the thing blew out, we called for that. And actually, we exposed him to actually to put into place an independent investigator. But he was reluctant until forced to that position. He never published, even when he appointed that. We asked him the terms of reference, can you share the terms of reference publicly? Can the investigation be public? Because he wanted to cover up and defend Fritz and defend DA, they never did that. All the investigations which he conducted were actually covered in a veil of secrecy. And we have actually even went to the Commissioner of Police to investigate the matter, whether Alan Winde, as a Premier of the province, is not committing a criminal act by trying to cover criminality which have happened to his office. So whatever is coming out now through Advocate Jennifer Williams, her investigation, which was independent, it actually vindicates our position, which we have been calling him to. Actually, we are not going to leave him. We want the commissioner. We are waiting the report from the Commissioner of Police. If it has been found that he actually tried to tamper with criminality, with a criminal case, himself, he must be charged. He must appear, he must actually account for that. Because that was a cover until we still Alan Winde knew this. And I think DA knew for years that these old men there have been abusing little kids, as taking them from the townships, promising them jobs, and were opening them to abuse until she was shifted now to the other position. So I think they knew that. So now the thing is in the open. Victims themselves are coming forward. It's only now that they are running around trying to cover, but they can't cover that.
Thank you so much for your time. And that was Lerumo Kalako from the African National Congress.